We're talking all about slot machine volatility, plus which aspects of a game will affect the volatility, and how you can use this information on your next casino visit. Hey there, and welcome back to our slot strategy series. We're in the garage and we're playing Beer House by WMS. And we'll start by answering the question, what is volatility? In relation to slot machines, volatility is the variance in payout size and frequency that a player experiences over time when compared to the average. Now, if you're wondering what that actually looks like, I can show you an example. And it actually comes from the game that you see behind me, Beer House. Let's break it down. This chart shows some really cool info, like the all-time highest bonuses on this machine and the top bonuses over the last 24 hours. But the most important thing to look at is this, the actual payout distribution for this machine. Now, it's important to note here that we don't know how much time this window is supposed to represent. I don't think it's the last 24 hours, but I also don't think it's the full lifetime of the game either. So I think it's somewhere in between, and we really aren't sure, but it perfectly illustrates volatility. We said before that volatility is the variance in payout size and frequency that a player experiences over time when compared to the average. And this chart shows the variations outside of the average on this machine in this period. Now, there's a problem with this chart because it only represents a certain amount of time, and it doesn't address the long-term volatility if this game were played to its theoretical average. So, if we're interested to see what the payout size and frequency looks like over the entire life of the game, we need to talk about probability, and specifically the log normal distribution. Let me explain. My fellow math nerds in the crowd will likely remember the normal distribution, aka the bell curve, and it represents the probability of outcomes around a given mean or average. The log normal distribution is the same thing, but on a logarithmic scale instead of a linear one, but it's still centered around the same average. Why is this important for slots? Because slots are inherently random, and they follow the laws of probability when played over the long term. And based on the game design, the probability curve could look wildly different, but still have the same overall payout. While it is true that the number of reels, or lines, or even features affect a game's volatility, the most important factor is the game's pay table, period. If we know the pay table of any given game, specifically the maximum payout as a multiple of bet size, then we can reasonably assume what its curve looks like, whether it has a 1000x top win or a 10,000x top win. Because the higher a game's maximum win, the more skewed the payout distribution is to the lower end. Vice versa, a game that has a lower max win has a payout distribution that's skewed more towards the higher end. And we can see there's a significant difference, for example, in the probability of a win greater than 1x between a game like this and a game like this. And this, yes, this, right here, is your advantage as a player when choosing your slot machine. So as you walk the casino floor, now you can evaluate any game's volatility and decide if it fits your play style. Okay, if you're thinking this is way too much to keep in mind when picking your next slot, I have good news. And luckily, I've done some of the hard work for you. Every slot that we play on this channel has a corresponding game guide over on lazywager.com. Each guide has the full pay table and important game details. We even rate each game based on our lazy volatility scale. And the best part? It's completely free for you. Oh, and while you're there, go ahead and join the Lazy community, also free, so that you can get the most out of lazywager.com. Hey, this strategy series is a lot of fun to make and hopefully really helpful for you as well. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel. We'll see you next time.
Well, I'll tell you what, I was losing faith.
Nice.